Hi guys, let's understand physics.
Hi everyone, welcome back for our next session on a new topic which is called as refraction of light at spherical surfaces. And in this topic, you will be learning about lenses. So, what you will be learning in this topic is some of the basics which you have already done in 10th standard, but you will be doing in much depth. So, what you will be learning different from what you have done in 10th standard is surfaces. When I say surfaces, there will be two types of surfaces which we will be discussing in this chapter. One is convex spherical surface and the other one is concave spherical surfaces. So how does they look when we draw the diagram? Convex spherical surface would look something like this, and concave would look something like this. Since you have already learned with respect to convex lens and concave lens, we are just taking one surface of a convex lens and we are taking one surface here of a concave lens. This is glass material and the outer part will be taking as air. So again the same thing, a straight line which is passing through the pole is my principal axis, and there will be one center of curvature which we take this as the radius and we cut this. So this will be my radii of curvature, this is my center of curvature, this is pole. This is my convex spherical surface. Same thing we have for concave spherical surface also. These surfaces will be called as refracting surfaces. So if I draw here also, it's the same case. This curve we get from outside part, so this will be center of curvature, this will be my radii of curvature, this is pole, this is my denser medium, and this will be considered as rarer medium. So we'll be discussing a lot about a convex surface and a concave surface, and very important, we have a derivation for both of them. I will be deriving one equation for you using convex spherical surface, and at home you will be practicing for concave spherical surface. They both are important, and as and when they have asked in both for 3 to 4 marks. Okay, so let's just start for a convex spherical surface. The topic is refraction of light at spherical surfaces lenses, and we'll be deriving the equation for convex spherical surface. So how does this look like? Now how do we draw this ray diagram which I have already drawn? I will first take my convex spherical surface using this as the center. I will draw this curve first. After that, I have an object here. So from an object, a ray, let's say, is incident at one of the surface. Now from this end, at this point, the refraction will take place. To draw the refracted ray, we need a normal, so we'll draw the normal. When we complete the normal, we come to know that the ray is traveling from a rarer medium, which is air, to a denser medium, which is glass. So the ray, instead of traveling straight, will bend towards the normal. So this is normal, this bends towards the normal, and it meets somewhere at point I. So here we have angle of incidence I over here, we have angle of refraction R. Other labeling, as what you have learned in Cartesian coordinate system, we measure all the distances from the pole. So this is my pole. From pole I measure up to C, so it's radii of curvature. From pole I measure up to the image, it's V. Since we are measuring these distances in the direction of the ray, they are taken as positive. The distance which measured from pole up to object is taken as minus U, because we are measuring the distance in the opposite direction of the incident ray. So how we'll derive the equation using this concept? Somewhere I have taken this angle as theta. Theta is the angle which is formed by the normal at the center of curvature. So if this is theta, this will be 180 minus theta because of linear pair. I have taken this as I, so this angle will be 180 minus I due to linear pair. The derivation is very simple, need not worry. I'll show you certain shortcuts how to derive this equation. First, you need to know what is sine rule, and you have learned this sine rule in math. So if I take a triangle, that is in triangle OAC, and I apply sine rule over here, what do I get? I get this as sine of 180 minus I, that is this angle, upon the opposite side, which is OC, equals to, I take this angle theta, which is sine theta, upon the side opposite to this is AO or OA. Therefore sine 180 minus I will give me sine I, so I get this as sine I, upon, I bring the sine theta in the denominator, so I get this as sine theta equals to OC upon, instead of writing AO, I am writing OA. Let us say that this is my equation number 1. Again, I take another triangle and I apply the same thing. So I am taking, let's say, another triangle is where the angle of refraction is there. So in triangle ACI, we have to select triangles in such a way that there should be angle I and there should be angle R. So if I take triangle ACI, I apply the same concept and I get this as sine of 180 minus theta upon AI equals to sine of R upon CI. So is this much clear? Therefore I can write this as sine of 180 minus theta is sine theta upon sine R is equals to AI upon CI. Let's say that this is equation number 2. Now I know, according to Snell's law, what does Snell's law says? According to Snell's law, sine I upon sine R is equals to refractive index of medium 2 with respect to 1. Therefore I can write this as sin I upon sin R equals to refractive index of medium 2 upon refractive index of medium 1. Now let's say in this particular equation, if I multiply both the sides by sin theta, so I write here multiplying by sin theta, I get this as therefore sin I upon sin theta, I mean to say multiplying by sin theta in numerator and denominator into this will be sin theta upon sin R equals to n2 upon n1. Hope you have understood till here so that we can move ahead. If you look into this ratio, we already have the values of this ratio. Sin I by sin theta, we have a value over here which is having object. Sin theta by sin R is having a relation of image. So if I substitute these values, what will I get? The next part is nothing else but it's just the math. So if I continue ahead of this, I know the value of sin I by sin theta, which is OC upon OA into sin theta by sin R is AI upon CI equals to N2 upon N1. Now if I simplify this ahead, I get this as therefore OC upon OA into N1 equals to CI upon AI into N2. Ahead of this, it's nothing else but it's just the math, what you need to know. So if I look into the value of OC, OA, CI, AI from the diagram, what do we get these values as? Let's just look at first OC. This is my OC. I do not have the value of OC over here. So we have to find the value of OC in form of somewhere U and R. So my OC will be nothing else but it's OP plus PC. So OC will be my OP plus PC upon, if we look at OA, my OA should be equals to OP only if this aperture is very small. So I can write my OA as OP and we have to write the reason. Same way it's CI. This value, we do not have any value for CI. So what we can do is that we can take this PI minus PC. Why are we taking that? Because we know that this PI is V and this is R. So I can take this CI in the form of PI minus PC upon AI. Instead of AI, I can write as PI. The reason will be small aperture. So this AI will be PI to bracket and this is N2, and here we will write reason since small aperture, therefore OA will be equals to PO and AI will be equals to PI. Now ahead we have to just simplify this equation. So if I simplify this equation, I get this as OP divided by OP will give me 1 plus PC upon OP into N1 equals to PI goes here, so it's 1 minus PC upon PI into N2. Now let's just see what is the value of PC and OP from the diagram. PC is R. So we get this value of PC as R. So this is written as 1 plus R upon OP. OP is measured in the opposite direction of the incident ray, so it's minus U. So we get this value as minus U into N1 equals to 1 minus PC. PC is R, so we get PC as R over here, upon PI is again V, so it's V and N2. If I simplify this ahead, therefore 1 minus R by U into N1 equals to 1 minus R by V into N2. I open brackets, so I get this as N1 minus R by U N1 equals to N2 minus R by V N2. I take like terms together, so therefore this is R by V N2 minus R by U N1 equals to N2 minus N1. If I remove R common from here, I get this as N2 by V minus N1 by U equals to N2 minus N1 upon, if I remove this R from here, I get this value as R. Therefore we got the equation as N2 upon V minus N1 upon U equals to N2 minus N1 upon R. And this is the equation which we have to derive. Let's say I divide this whole equation on the left side and right side by N1. So if I divide or dividing this equation by N1, what do we get is N2 upon N1 upon V minus 1 by U equals to N2 upon N1 minus 1 upon R. Therefore I know N2 upon N1 is nothing else but its refractive index of medium 2 with respect to 1, so I write this as N upon V minus 1 by U equals to N minus 1 upon R. And this is the other form of the equation. So these two equations are important and you need to know how to derive it, this and this. And these two equations or this derivation had been asked in exam many a times. I suggest you practice this derivation, but understanding is very essential. So first understand it. I've already explained you. If you have doubt, go through this video again to understand how we have derived this equation. Some description is required. For example, if you look into this diagram, some description you have to write, such as let the convex spherical surface has a refractive index N2, N1 be the refractive index of a medium air. A ray is traveling from a rarer medium to a denser medium, forming an angle I, R, theta. Certain abbreviations what we have used here, and you can start the derivation in this way. So let's just move ahead for a homework which you have to do it thoroughly, and if you have understand, then only you will be able to derive the equation. Now for a concave spherical surface, for both the surfaces my equation remains the same. There is no change in the equation. It's only we are deriving now for a concave spherical surface. Earlier we have derived for convex spherical surface. You will do this as homework, and again it's a challenge. Do it with your understanding. This will help you a lot, instead of just memorizing or rote memory or by hearting it, whatever you can understand better. I'm just helping you in explaining the diagram of concave surface and how does this diagram looks like. So if you look into the diagram over here, how does this diagram looks like? We have a curved surface, and this whole part will be called as concave spherical surface. These hatching lines indicate that it's a denser medium and it's a glass. So if there is an incident ray OA at this surface, there has to be a normal to decide that what can be the angle of refraction. So at this point, if I draw a normal passing through C, easily you can see that this particular ray is not traveling straight from here, but it's bending towards the normal. It's because the ray is traveling from a rarer to a denser medium, so it will bend towards the normal. So this will be my angle of refraction. This is my incident ray and this is normal, so this will be my angle of incidence. This angle of refraction will be equal to this angle because it's vertically opposite angles. So now if you look into triangle OAC or IAC, we have angles I and R. If we look into our earlier diagram, we had only one extra angle from this particular diagram, and that is this theta. Now it's a challenge for you that in this particular diagram, where will you assign the angle theta and how will you derive this equation using our earlier concept. Earlier concept means we need one triangle which is having object O, one triangle which has image I, and applying the sine rule in both the triangles. It's up to you to decide this theta in this particular figure. There are n number of ways of deriving this equation, but out of all that which I have gone through, this is one of the easiest way of deriving this equation, where you don't have to by heart. It's just the understanding and the remaining part is the math. So it's a challenge, and let's see who solves this.